everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Former Prince Andrew arrested by the police there, related to something with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you think people in this country at some point, associates of Jeffrey Epstein, will wind up in handcuffs too?
Well, you know, I'm the expert in a way because I've been totally exonerated. That's very nice. So I can actually speak about it.
What?
Very nicely. I think it's a shame. I think it's very sad. I think it's so bad for the royal family. It's a very, very sad. To me, it's a very sad thing. When I see that, it's a very sad thing. To see it and to see what's going on with his brother, who's obviously coming to our country very soon, and he's a fantastic man, the king. So I think it's a very sad thing. It's really interesting because nobody used to speak about Epstein when he was alive, but now they speak. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. But I'm the one that can talk about it because I've been totally exonerated. I did nothing. In fact, the opposite. He was against me. He was fighting me in the election, which I just found out through the last 3 million pages of documents.
Exonerated? Who said this man was exonerated? Oh my God. Some of my best friends are black. Jesse despised Trump. Hey, listen. if Jesse was Trump's one black friend, that was not the one, okay? It's a lot of things coming out about Jesse Jackson, okay? But anyway, Trump being exonerated is crazy work. I wonder, why didn't the media say, exonerated by who, sir? Like, who exonerated you? Like, can you give us a name?
How did the King's brother end up being arrested? We do know that it comes after a police investigation into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's role as a trade envoy, so he would represent the UK on trade missions. In 2011, he gave up that role after his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein came to light. There was a huge amount of public criticism around that. In January of this year, King Charles evicted Andrew from his mansion on the Windsor estate and relocated him to a private estate in Norfolk, and that's where he was arrested by Thames Valley Police. But this is a long, complicated case, and it is overshadowing anything that the British monarchy does. We did get a statement from the King which came remarkably quickly and shows how seriously he's been taking this. He said, "I've learned with the deepest concern the news about Andrew Mountbatten Windsor," so not referring to him as his brother, really trying to distance himself as much as possible from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He says, "What now follows is the full and fair, proper process by which this issue is investigated." That's extremely important. He's suggesting it should be done in the appropriate manner by the appropriate authorities. I have been told by a source that the King wasn't informed that this arrest was going to take place, so he was as caught out by it as everyone else is. In this, the King says, as I've said before, they have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. So the King making clear that what's most important here is the police investigation, and he's reminding everyone that it's the victims and the survivors that everyone needs to think of first. Effectively, Andrew is the last person we should be thinking of in this situation. So this is the King trying to separate his professional role from his personal relationships.
Since the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, many Americans are now demanding that similar action happen in the United States. Jeffrey Epstein operated primarily in the US. Many of his alleged victims were American. His financial networks, properties, social connections, much of it was US-based. Yet no American citizen, apart from Epstein himself and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell, have been held criminally responsible for anything. Andrew has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in a public office, not sexual offences, and he has strenuously denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. In the United States, some prominent individuals have lost their jobs and their reputations. Yet, despite the release of the Epstein files, we don't seem to be any closer to anyone in the US being arrested or tried for abusing Epstein's victims. Prosecutors say there is not enough evidence in the files to pursue charges against any of Epstein's co-conspirators, but lawmakers who are investigating Epstein's crimes say if a former prince can be arrested, that makes them even more determined to pursue justice in America. Since the arrest...
Yeah, I think there will be, like I said, again, Prince Andrew has not been arrested for what is being said that he had relations with a young woman, and that the woman who is in the FBI files saying that he assaulted her. He's not been arrested for that. He's been arrested because in those emails, he shared some secret information with Epstein, or possibly shared some secret information with Epstein. So, you know.
There you go.
This is just him leaving the police station. Nothing really much to see here.
Well, you would think he now is finding himself face to face with the reality of the fact that he is no longer in the privileged position he was in before. Yes, he is arrogant. He always has been very stuck up on his status, very self-assured, pompous to many of the people around him, and some would say rather rude on occasions. He has been used to a life in which everyone gives him what he wants and jumps when he says jump. Now he is being ordered, one assumes, to do whatever the police are saying he must do. You can imagine the situation he must find himself in at a police station. It's something he would never have experienced in his life, and it would be his worst nightmare as well, I think. You would think eventually this has brought him down a peg or two or three. But I wouldn't bet on it, because he is a proud man, and he is, as he says, protesting thus far as we know, his innocence in all wrongdoing. I imagine he now has a solicitor at his side. And I imagine at the palace they are considering what they can and cannot say, but I think they probably will say nothing, because you remember that justice is carried out in the name of the king, and so I think he has no option here but to step back very clearly from this situation and let the police do their work.
We're hearing that Buckingham Palace was not informed about this operation beforehand. It seems that King Charles learned about his brother being arrested in much the same way as the rest of us, even though this was happening on his private estate in Sandringham. And we are in the extraordinary situation of standing by as British police search properties belonging to King Charles. Remember, Andrew lost the lease on Royal Lodge, where he lived on the Windsor estate, as a result of this latest release of Epstein files, the embarrassment that was causing. He lost his titles, of course. He was basically sent into exile out in Norfolk, which is miles away from where we are here in London, and Windsor, which is not far from London. And so now we're in the situation where the King's private estate, where Andrew was living, is being searched by police. Like I said, we do not have the details on what their case is against him, but it does seem to surround these allegations that he forwarded sensitive government material to Jeffrey Epstein when he was trade envoy for more than a decade. The next steps will presumably be that he is bailed at some point. He will leave police custody. Will he make bail? That's a big question. I mean, I cannot answer these questions at this point. We will have to wait to see what the police issue in terms of a statement. They have been very careful here. They have not even named Andrew specifically. They said only a man in his 60s was arrested this morning. He is, by the way, 66, and it is his birthday today. And so we will wait for the police to issue a statement, and the Crown Prosecution Service, presumably, if charges are brought, they will list the charges that they will bring against him, and then we'll have to see if he pleads in some way or if he defends himself. He presumably has some kind of legal representation currently in prison. He may well choose to issue a statement of his own. What is clear is that he is now a private citizen. The palace has cut ties with Andrew in pretty much every way possible. And I think King Charles's personal statement this morning, not a statement on behalf of the palace, but a statement from King Charles himself, was meant to show that everyone in the royal family, the working members of the royal family, Charles, William, Kate, Prince Edward, very much on the side of the public in this and of law enforcement rather than Andrew.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot more of this in the upcoming days. I think after this arrest, we're gonna see a domino effect of the pressure coming down to arrest people or find something to bring these people, to get them to testify. You have to bring them under some type of charge to get them under oath. Once you get them under oath, and Prince Andrew will not speak to the press. You have the right to remain silent, and he's going to invoke that right. But I don't think anything. I think you will start to see people getting arrested for the minorest things they have to do, and I think that's what the FBI is trying to do, or maybe not trying to do. I don't know, because it seems like the FBI in America are fighting tooth and nail to sweep this under the rug as fast as possible. They're not trying to convict anybody. They're not trying to arrest anybody, because people should be arrested. People should be arrested by now. I mean, there's plenty of evidence, not just a lot of hearsay. If there's emails, there's flight logs. Release the flight logs. And remember that was a big thing like 2 years ago. Like we want to see the flight logs. We want to see who's on the flight logs. Where are the flight logs? I haven't heard the flight logs one time.
I think it's important to be quite clear about why we think Andrew has been arrested. It is not to do with the allegations that Virginia Giuffre made about being trafficked to Andrew for sex. That is not what this is about. This is about communication that Andrew is alleged to have made with Jeffrey Epstein when he was trade envoy. This is emails that came out in the Department of Justice Epstein file release, which suggests that Andrew was sharing sensitive government information with Jeffrey Epstein. So that is a misconduct in public office offence, and that is why the police presumably have arrested Andrew today. Now, it obviously speaks to a wider issue, which is how much Andrew was in touch with Epstein. He told Emily Maitlis in that disastrous 2019 interview that he cut all communication off with Epstein. Clearly that is not true. If you're to believe these emails, he was in touch with him a lot longer than that. The 2010 emails from Andrew were well after Epstein had already been convicted of soliciting sex from a minor. We have to wait and see exactly what the charges are. If they're brought to him, one imagines that will be the Crown Prosecution Service who will publish their charges against Andrew.
And I think they need to start decoding a lot of those emails and unredact a lot of those emails, because I get the victims' names. The victims' names, no. But there's a lot of stuff. And not only that, not only just those emails, it's other people's emails. People are trying to wipe their emails right now. They've been wiping their emails for years now since Epstein. Anything that had to do with Epstein, I think it'll be harder and harder to find because of how long they've taken to go after some of these people. They should have took over a lot of these people's servers a long time ago when they first had Epstein. After the first case of Epstein, a lot of these people, once the FBI started bringing up these people, they should have been going after their emails. I mean, you already had the Clintons' emails, so that should be easy, right? Because you already had the Clintons' emails. But then there's you know, the Chris Tuckers, the Prince Andrew. Somebody was talking about Harry. Everybody was saying Prince Harry at one point, but it wasn't Prince Harry. It was Prince Andrew. Like, Prince Harry's a young man. He wasn't over there. So yeah, it was the Prince. Everybody assumed it was Prince and Prince Harry, which they're young. So now that it's all coming out that it was Andrew, I think that makes a little bit more sense. But it's what was being traded. Now think about it. If they're selling top secrets and trade secrets, that could have made a lot of those inside guys rich. And I believe that's what it was. It was to make the rich richer. And that way those people could keep a thumb down on the people of the world. And that's how they kept their fortunes to grow while everyone else was in distress. And you have overly inflated prices on everything. You know, even it goes as far as even people are saying that the lottery is a joke because Epstein won the lottery, or a LLC, a company tied to Epstein out of Arizona, won the lottery for $80 million. And this came a day before or day after he was convicted. So why does this make sense? It's because of the timing, of the connection, and the amount. Like, what did he get paid? What did he get paid? How much did he get paid, and what did he get paid for? That's a big question.
Everyday people.
Day and night. For some women, it can start working in as fast as 1 week.